school district gives us $252,000, which is roughly 48% of the personnel services for our school resource deputies. And Mrs. Geiger, the superintendent of schools, has told me that if we can't get this resolved, that one of their options is to cut the funding to the sheriff's office because they don't have the money. Everybody's in a financial crunch. I have talked to our delegation. I've talked to a lot of people in Tallahassee, and this is something that's outside of a lot of our control. They postponed the budget process to have a special session, so this is still on the table. The answer that I've been given was, well, they're going to remember the financial constrained counties, but no, not telling us how they're going to remember us and how they're going to take care of the shortfall that we're going to experience. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that the superintendent of schools is going to cut our funding, but all that money is allocated. And it is the school district's responsibility to cover school security. It is not the sheriff's. However, we all work together. And while in the county bears about 56% of the cost, and that is not counting overtime. The county accrues all that, takes care of that for ball games and special events. $252,000 is a lot of money to lose. And I personally, if that does go and they do not give us money, something that's sustainable, then I won't be able to have 2 school resource deputies. I just won't be able to cover that. Hopefully it's not a problem, but if the county knows anybody in Tallahassee, I believe Representative Schultz is one of the sponsors of the bill. I cannot get him to return my phone calls. I've talked to the sheriffs over there, the financial constrained counties there. He's a busy guy, this committee, so that's not a slight on him. I have talked to Representative Johnson, who has been in contact with them and just doesn't have a whole lot. When I talked to him, it was in committee. They didn't think it passed the Senate, but it's still in the budget. So when they come back, they'll be discussing it. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get up there to have a say-so with some of the other sheriffs, but all I get told is don't worry about it. Well, we've got to worry about it. We've got to worry about it.
So they funded it in the past, the school has, but this year they're saying they may not be able to fund it.
And no one can tell me why they've restructured this.
So the state restructured?
The state is, yes.
Okay.
They're wanting to, they have, I don't know, I'm not smart enough to tell you because it's school district issues. They allot so much money. Right now, the school district gets roughly $480,000 of safe school monies. And out of that $480,000, they give me $252,000.
Which they're required to. They have to fund it.
Well, they don't. They have options, which is private security, guardian program,
okay,
or things like that, or contract with me. And I am by far the cheapest route and the most practical. So if they take that money and there's no set way of how they're going to recuperate that money, the school district does not know how they're going to continue and how they're going to make the cuts. Again, it's kind of dramatic, but that is, I was texting her before I come up here to make sure nothing changed. So I owe that to you because then I have some decisions, and of course, the Board of County Commissioners will have a decision of how we're going to do that. Now, the deal would be we'd have 2 resource deputies like they used to have, covering 2 schools, which I am not a fan of, but the people at large are not going to understand why we're scaling back in a time where we have all these problems because of money.
yeah, but I mean, this is something the school has to come up with, not us.
But theoretically, absolutely, it is the school district's responsibility by statute to provide security for their schools.
I mean, we've already